Welcome to the Word for 2021. Today we're in Deuteronomy chapter 2. 38 years has passed since the 10 spies came back from their spy mission and they gave a bad report to the nation of Israel. Because of their bad report saying that we're not strong enough to go in and take possession of the land, and the people believed it and they lost heart, they decided they would not listen to God and do what He said. They were filled with disbelief. Because of that, they've been wandering in the wilderness. Now an entire generation has perished in the wilderness. A new generation is now ready to go into the promised land. In verse 3, God finally gives them the news they've been longing for. He says, "You have been in this hill country long enough. Now turn to the north." Now again, their wandering, it came about because of unbelief. The fulfillment of God's promise was put on hold because the first generation would not do what God told them to do. They didn't believe that they could, or that God would fulfill what He said. And because of sin, Israel lived in a mess for 38 years. Devotional writer Lisa Turquist, she said this: "We all understand what it's like to live in a mess. There's lots of different messes we can get in. There are financial messes or relationship messes. There are health messes or kid messes. There are home messes and business messes. We understand what being in a mess is like. We can feel stuck. We can feel forgotten. We can feel hopeless, as though there's no end in sight. Is this really the new normal? And will this always be just a never-ending cycle that I'm in?" For 40 years, the Israelites had a track record of aimlessly wandering about. With each circle around the mountain, they regularly were reminded of their failures in the past, how rebellion had brought them to the point where they were at. With each circle that they went around, they were reminded of the mess that they were in. Again, Lisa Turquist asked a great question. Are we letting the mess that we're in define us or refine us? That's an awesome question. Are we repeating the same thing over and over again, or are we learning from our past and doing something different as we move forward? Now, how do you make a change like that? How do we turn? First, we need to understand what has caused the mess. We need to stop where we're at, look back and say, how did I get to where I'm at? What decisions have I made that have brought me to this point? And if you don't like where you're at, then it's time to make a change. To spend time before God, asking Him to give you understanding and clarity so that you can not simply repeat the past, but you can do something different as you move forward in Him. You're going to do something totally different. You learn from the past by resolving to change, by listening to God and doing what He says, allowing God's Word to redirect again your thoughts and your actions. And when you do that, you're turning and you're moving in a brand new direction with God. Is God saying that enough is enough where you're at and it's time to make a change? Then stop where you're at, listen to God, resolve to change, and follow Him in faith and do what He's telling you to do. Turn north. Thank you for joining the Word for 2021.